I'm Alan Weiss, and this is The Writing on the Wall. Hi, I'm Alan Weiss. Welcome to Writing on the Wall, episode 64, Women. Let's hope there's an episode 65. One of my most popular CDs ever was What Women Can Learn from Men, and Especially Me. So here in some of that wisdom. When I was graduated from Rutgers, right out of undergraduate school, I went to work for Prudential, 1968. And in 1968, 69, 70, there was something called the Miss Prudential contest. And women from 18 to 22, all the women in Prudential at the time were in that rough age frame. They were secretaries and assistants. You couldn't go into management. I'm just telling the truth. Women in that age range would put on very brief bathing suits and stilettos and walk around a U-shaped stage with 5 Prudential executives judging them to be Miss Prudential. And whoever won in the vote of these 5 executives became the official hostess for Prudential's Eastern Home Office for the next year in Newark, New Jersey. And as many of us as could crowd into this room crowded in to watch this. And since we were in this hotshot management program, we usually managed a way in, and I was positive that my future was in the insurance business, and I would become an executive at Prudential because I wanted to judge this contest. Now, that's an absolutely true story, except I'm no longer at Prudential, thank goodness. But look at the new TV shows. I mean, as we film this, 2 of the most acclaimed new shows that have not yet aired would be one on Playboy and one on Pan Am stewardesses. And these are supposed to be the hot new shows for one of the networks. Beauty contests abound today. They start when kids are 4 and 5 years old, dressed up like tarts. But in Venezuela and Colombia, the beauty business is an industry, and winning beauty contests is a legitimate goal in life. Isn't that a form, though, of liberation? Why shouldn't women decide to do what they want? Whether it's a career, family, beauty contest, why not? Isn't liberation being able to decide whatever it is you want to do? My wife chose not to have a long-term career. She was a teacher. But she decided, after 5 years of marriage, I guess she'd had enough of me at that point, but we would have a family, and we had our first child after 5 years of marriage, and our second 13 months later. And she would stay home and be a stay-at-home parent. And that's what we decided consciously and deliberately to do. That's a form of liberation. And it amazes her when women say to her, "You never chose to pursue a career?" That's what she chose to do. Liberation's about choices, isn't it? There's an outfit in San Francisco called Women in Consulting. Can you imagine if there were an operation called Men in Consulting? Or can you count the number of lawsuits that would be filed? I call them women dabbling in consulting. They don't like that, so I won't say that here. But why would you have an association devoted to a legitimate pursuit, consulting, and confine it to a gender? I don't understand that. We all need great role models, not gender-specific role models, especially if the opposite gender is providing a better role model. So it's about who we choose to follow, not the gender of whom we choose to follow. Today, glass walls are far worse than glass ceilings. Women rise in organizations, but they rise in specific areas more often than not. And you can see exceptions, but they're notable just by being an exception. At Avon, at eBay, at places like that. But the glass walls confine women to areas like human resources, or finance, or administration. In this day and age, it's still unusual to see a woman who's in charge of manufacturing, who's in charge of sales, who's in charge of R&D. There's no reason for it that I know of except, well, glass walls. So we focus on the wrong thing. And I think liberation can't just be quantitative, it's got to be qualitative. Well, thanks especially to you women for listening. You've been hearing my feminine side. What's that, Koufax? You want a love interest in here? Forget about it.